You know that heavy, awkward moment when you're standing next to someone, fully aware you should say something, but your mind goes completely blank? So you fall back on, "How is your day?" They respond with a single word, and suddenly you're both trapped in an uncomfortable silence, wishing you could disappear. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not the only one. But the truth is, you're approaching small talk the wrong way. In this video, I'll explain why those awkward pauses happen, uncover the psychology behind what confident people do differently, and by the end, I'll give you a simple 3-word phrase that can revive even the most dead-end conversation. Here's the problem. Most people believe they're bad at small talk because they don't have anything interesting to say. But that's not it. They assume small talk is about being clever, charming, or quick-witted. That's wrong too. The real secret has almost nothing to do with what you say. It has everything to do with what you notice. And there's a very specific way to turn what you notice into something that sparks real conversation. Unfortunately, this is where most people mess up. Picture this. You're at a networking event, a cafe, or a party. Someone is standing nearby, you know you should speak, and once again, your mind freezes. So you default to, "How's your day going?" or "What do you do?" The conversational equivalent of dry, flavorless toast. They give you a short answer, the silence returns, and you think, "I'm awful at this." But here's what's really happening. You're treating the other person like a machine that needs the correct input. You're not connecting with a real human being. You're trying to run a social script. The confident people around you aren't using some secret magic, and they aren't naturally charismatic. They're doing something completely different, something you can learn in just a few minutes. But before I explain what that is, you need to understand why your current approach fails so badly. When you ask generic questions, you're putting pressure on the other person. They have to come up with an interesting response, worry about how they sound, and essentially carry the conversation for you. That's draining, which is why they shut down. But then I discovered something interesting. Watch what happens when you stop asking questions and start making observations. Instead of asking, "What are you reading?" you say, "That book looks like it's survived a few coffee spills." Instead of, "How's work?" you say, "You look like someone who just survived a brutal Monday meeting." This works because it removes pressure and adds curiosity. You're not demanding an explanation, you're simply noticing something and sharing it. That gives the other person the freedom to engage, or not, without feeling interrogated. But here's where people still get it wrong. They make dull observations. "Nice weather today," "Cool shirt." These technically count as observations, but they kill conversations because they don't invite a response. The difference between a conversation starter and a conversation killer comes down to 3 specific elements. Before I explain them, if this video is already changing how you see small talk, hit the like button and subscribe. I break down social psychology like this every week. And leave a comment with your worst small talk experience. I read every single one. The 3 elements of magnetic observations are specificity, light exaggeration, and an implied story. Let's break those down. Specificity means noticing details most people overlook. Not nice shoes, but those shoes look like they could survive a zombie apocalypse. You're being precise about what caught your attention. Light exaggeration adds energy and humor without going too far. Instead of "You look tired," try "You look like someone who just realized their coffee was decaf." It's dramatic enough to be interesting, but still relatable and genuine. An implied story means your observation hints at something more. Saying, "That laptop has definitely seen some adventures," suggests there's a story behind all those stickers. You're creating curiosity without directly asking for it. And when you combine all 3 elements, something powerful happens. Your observations turn into conversation magnets. You're not just commenting, you're painting a picture the other person wants to either agree with or correct. As a result, they start sharing naturally without feeling pressured. And it gets even better when you learn to stack these observations into conversation threads people actually enjoy. Instead of making one comment and stopping, you build a dialogue. Imagine noticing someone in a bookstore holding books from 3 completely different genres. You say, "That's either the most random reading list I've ever seen, or you're shopping for 3 very different people." They laugh and explain they're buying gifts for family. Then you add, "That's either incredibly thoughtful, or you're trying to become the favorite family member." Now you're not just making small talk, you're creating a playful dynamic. The key is reading their energy and adjusting. If they seem busy, keep it short. If they're engaged, you can continue. You're not forcing anything, you're responding to what they give you. This approach works in professional settings too. Instead of "How's the project going?" try "You look like someone either solving a complex puzzle or plotting revenge." It's appropriate for work, but interesting enough to break the routine. Once you start thinking this way, you'll notice conversation opportunities everywhere. Now, let's get to the phrase I promised at the beginning, the 3-word conversation starter that ties everything together. But context matters, so you need to know how to use it properly. The 3 words are, "I bet that." I bet that coffee saved your morning. I bet that book choice has a story. I bet that presentation didn't go as planned. This phrase is powerful because it does 3 things at once. First, it makes an observation about their experience. Second, it shows you're paying attention to them as an individual. Third, it opens the door for them to share without feeling questioned. But the real magic isn't the phrase itself, it's how it forces you to truly observe and engage with the person in front of you. When you start with "I bet that," your brain automatically searches for something specific and interesting to say. As a result, you stop relying on generic questions and start forming genuine connections based on what you actually notice. The phrase becomes a bridge between observation and conversation. And here's the insight that changes everything. The goal isn't to master small talk. The goal is to make people feel noticed and interesting. When you do that, small talk stops being something you tolerate and becomes something you actually enjoy. The next time a conversation feels forced, remember this: you don't need to be interesting, you need to be interested. Find one specific detail, add a touch of playful exaggeration, hint that there's more to the story, and start with "I bet that." The rest will unfold naturally. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.